This evening, I would like to talk to you about superstition and things that go boomp in the night. In other words, I want to talk to you about Para-Scientology. Psychology got into trouble a great many years ago and never got out of it. People wonder, by the way, why I knock psychology, and my philosophy is, why not kick a dog when it's down?
Now, we all know that man is a beast who is governed by anger and sex impulses.
The boys in psychology got into trouble because they kept running into phenomena occasionally which didn't fit in their textbooks. Strange phenomena which kept occurring. Mothers did love their children. There were some mothers in the world who did not have sexual designs on their sons. And this didn't fit with theory as it was being developed. And so they put it over this pile. And finally, this pile of discarded data which had gotten in the road got much bigger than the pile of data they had in psychology. So what did they do about this? They called this para-psychology. They got so bad off after a while that a fellow endowed a chair to investigate psychic phenomena. People in California are crazy people, see? This huge endowment. He used these tremendous parabolic mirrors, for instance, to demonstrate conclusively that if a person had something telepathed at him, actually the person doing the telepathing probably moved his lips. We're not quite sure how this figures out. But anyway, he spent this vast sum on parabolic mirrors. But the rest of psychology simply set itself up to attack any advance into any other phenomena than that immediately established as useful to the fascist. Psychic phenomena is utterly antipathetic to the whole philosophy of control. Maybe a man could think a thought, that would change his beingness in some fashion. Maybe this could occur. This would be bad. If you had a slave who no longer believed that his wrists were manacled with chains, it'd be awfully hard to keep around unless you actually did manacle. And of course you can't manacle slaves because they don't get much work done. Well, we just take this word para, and which means more or less runs alongside of, you see, and we apply it to Para-Scientology. In other words, Scientology is an organized body of recognized phenomena. Recognized phenomena. By whom? By an authority? By Professor Umpskittle? By the chair of protesting metaphysics at the University of California? By me? No. No, there's no authority. Basically, the fellow whose postulates stick. That's authority. We have authorities in art because nobody understands art. We have to have authorities in art. Otherwise, we'd have a complete chaos. We have to have people coming forward saying, that's a bad picture, that's a good picture, because people can't think. Everybody knows that. Not observed, but suspected material. Possibility. Strange phenomena. We don't know what it is, so we put it over here in this bin. Well, that applies to anybody who comes along and he says, Scientology, what the hell is this all about? So he doesn't have any reality. So he has no reality on the fact that man is not his body. Well, a Christian way of going about this would be to take him and burn him at the stake, unless he believed. That would be the Christian method of doing things. Well, Scientology is very peculiar. We don't have any method like this, unless, of course, it's snapping one's fingers and saying birth will now appear, and it usually does. But that's black magic. We give somebody some auditing, and in this auditing, he discovers some phenomena. He discovers it for himself. The phenomena he discovers becomes Scientology to him. The phenomena he's told about, suspects, but does not believe, and cannot fit into any frame of reference which he's had previously, is of course para-Scientological, isn't it? Naturally. Because what would parapsychological mean? It merely means suspected phenomena, possibly extant. And if this is the frame of mind of any individual, then the material he's looking at in Scientology, which he suspects and doesn't believe is actually true, factual, or useful, is of course para-Scientological material, isn't it? So a fellow who reads a few paragraphs from a book is a para-Scientologist. And a fellow who has become well himself or has made somebody well through experiencing some of these phenomena, or has actually taken a look around and discovered that this phenomena existed, would of course be to that degree a Scientologist, wouldn't he? Instead of something like this and going along this kind of a course, why don't we do this? Why don't we take this big pile, this tremendous skyscraper of data over here, and interpose it where it really is interposed between Homo sap, a state of beingness alleged to exist on Earth, Sun 12, Galaxy 81, and what he might learn about it. And let him capture his own territory as he goes through it. Now, what he knows to exist in that material would be to him Scientology, which means conquered territory. Where was he before? He was at sea in an ocean called Para-Scientology. And you can say that any human being alive today is at sea in that ocean. Demons and devils and things that go boomp in the night, he knows they don't exist, he hopes. He knows he's never lived before, at least so they say in the Western Hemisphere. He knows that he has no soul, only, of course, they say over in the church he does. He knows that, that is, he has some feeling, possibly, that somewhere there may be some sort of an answer to something, but he couldn't quite put his finger on it. That man is totally surrounded with the pointed guns of unknown data. Well, Scientologist, if he wanted to be that crude and antique, could actually take somebody in through birth. And even though neither the auditor nor the pre-clear were an obstetrician and knew nothing about it at all, if a trained obstetrician were standing by, he would probably recognize from the contortions of the pre-clear as he slides on through birth the exact method of delivery used. All right. As we look over spirits and ghouls and things that go boomp in the night, it just may be that they exist. Just may be. And it just may be the thorough indoctrination one has at the hands of parents who hate to be awakened in the middle of the night by roaring screams from Junior that he's being attacked by witches. But let me assure you that we do not positively and completely know that witches, ghouls, and things that go boomp in the night don't exist. We don't know that. Nobody has disproven the existence of the leprechaun. Nobody. No mathematician has ever bent his slipstick successfully around this problem, or the head of a leprechaun. We do know, astonishingly enough, that there is a beingness of man that man didn't suspect existed before. We have found enough to suspect that even we don't know all there is to suspect. We don't have an open mind. The only thing I can think of that are really open are sewers, ditches, alleys.